wrote my new book, The Art of Caring Leadership, to be both a wake-up call and an invitation for leaders who want to uplift their teams and organizations by putting their people first. Most of us think we care, but caring leadership is about doing, taking action in a way that makes a tangible difference to our teams and our workplaces. Now, more than ever, at any time in history, we need to know what leading with heart actually means for us, for our workplaces, and for the world. The Art of Caring Leadership is a practical guide that will help you decipher what caring leadership means in practice through a framework that uncovers the steps you can take every single day. If your people know you care, not just about what they do, but who they are and can become, they will move mountains. To order your copy of the book, visit theartofcaringleadership.com. Hello, this is Heather with the Leadership Heart Podcast, and I'm joining you today just by my lonesome. And I'm excited to be with just you. It doesn't happen all the time, but I get it. And when I get an opportunity, I'd like to share, a piece of myself, some of what's happening with me, some of what's happening in the world, and some lessons. So here's one of the things that happened this week. I did a poll actually starting last week, and we closed it this week. And it was on LinkedIn, and I was asking what the number one leadership skill was. And I listed 4 of them: listening, communication, self-awareness, and creating safe spaces. And over 5,000 people viewed it, had about 180 people who actually responded, and about 20 people who commented on it. So it's always interesting to see what it is that's resonating. One of the things that I thought was so interesting is this listening actually beat out both self-awareness and communication by about 11 points each in second and third place. And then creating safe spaces was 4th. There was one person who responded that said, I actually think creating safe space is the most important. It's because without that, all the others don't really make sense, don't really have any validity. And I tend to agree, and I talk about listening a lot. But here's the thing. If we haven't, as leaders, taken the time to create a space where people feel comfortable speaking their truth, whether it's positive or, indifferent, whatever it is, then the listening is really not listening to the truth. So the listening or communication, any of it actually, doesn't matter if our people don't feel comfortable speaking their truth in our presence. How much are you creating the space to have those conversations? So one of the things I'm doing, I'm actually recording this podcast, and then I take off tomorrow to Portland, Oregon, where I will be filming and doing video shoots and photo shoots for my new website, speaking website, and for the new speaker reel, because of course I'm a speaker, but to really ramp up the speaker reel and make it more clearly defined and focused on what I represent and the work that I actually do. And so, Employee Fanatics is my consulting firm, and we focus on helping organizations create cultures of listening, which is why I wanted to do the poll, to see how people thought listening was as it relates to the other things and the skills for leaders. So I'm very, very excited to go to this because I have to bring all these clothes and, feel kind of like a movie star. It's kind of cool. And of course I'm leaving my family. So there's a whole other set of emotions that goes along when I travel and I have to leave them. It's just part of the job. But I keep thinking about this idea of me focusing. What am I focusing on? Why am I focusing on it? And for me, this desire to listen, the desire to have everyone have a voice and that their voice be heard and that they be respected for their voice, honored for their voices, is really at the cornerstone of just who I am. It represents who Heather is. And if you've been listening to me for a while, you've been listening to this podcast with me and the guests, you understand that I listen very deeply and I ask questions related to what my guests are going through, right? What's happening on their journey. I can sense, but because I'm listening, I can sense for them what's happening and what I need to go deeper on. And also, I do feel like I was called to create safe spaces for people so that their voices could come out and we'd be hearing the truth of the matter. This does go back for me way back when I was a kid, when I didn't really feel like my voice was powerful, when I didn't feel like I was being heard, or no one asked me my opinion as a kid when all the craziness was happening in my life. And I said to myself, I want to create a world where people's voices are heard. And so in all of this and all the work I do, and even in the caring leadership community and all of the different communities that I create and that I'm a part of, it's always about, are you speaking up? And if you're not, how can we create a sense of comfort for you so that you know that what you say here won't be judged? What you say here is we're going to be able to use that to help you grow. And it helps others grow too. So I wanted to drop that one thing here. And at the same time, let you know this, that you don't even realize how much significance you have as a leader of one, a leader of 20, wherever you are in your leadership journey, a leader of yourself. You don't realize how much influence you have, and how much people look to you to help them have a voice, to show them the way. And I'm going to give you an example of this. So my previous episode last week was with Sonia Crockett, and she is like a regional HR person for Raising Cane's, which is a franchise organization. And she said something as I was on the call with her, but really she said it multiple times, that the values that we have here, we are a great company. We do a lot of great things. And I love how your caring leadership idea, the caring leadership framework, the behaviors really complement the way what we call love here at Raising Cane's. And it hit her so deeply, and she shared a story with me, and it just made me realize how attuned she was and how attuned I had to be in order to be in the experience with her as she's recalling the impact I've had. Listening, safe spaces. She recalled some other things that were things that maybe she wouldn't ordinarily talk to people about, but she felt comfortable to do so. What is your calling? Is your calling to create safe spaces? What are you doing to create the safe spaces? How are you listening? Because listen, you cannot really truly listen. You cannot really truly communicate if people in your presence are intimidated. If people in your presence don't feel a connection, don't feel true engagement with you. So that would be my tip for you today, the lesson of this podcast. And hopefully you can glean some levels of inspiration here. Think about the impact you have, the legacy you leave, and whether those in your presence felt safe enough, secure enough to show up as them, speaking their truth to you in front of you, understanding that it wasn't going to have judgment, but that you would be there for them as a resource. And if you've done that at the end of the day, you have been more of a caring leader than almost all other leaders out there. Be proud of yourself for that. And I want you to come along with me even more so on this caring leadership journey. And if you are listening, go right now to caringleadership.co and join that free community. We also have weekly calls now that we just started with other leaders around the globe are joining to discuss different challenges, different topics in leadership. And you don't have to manage someone to join. You can be someone who just wants to show more care on your own, and someone on this planet looks to you for guidance. So believe me, you can learn from it too. I want you to be in my circle. I want you to be safe there with me. And I want you to grow from it, and I want to grow from you. Again, thank you so much for being on this journey, for joining this episode. Share it far and wide. Don't forget, we're in this together. Okay? Be well. Mwah. Big hug.